From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Cummins.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Cummins. Coming up on today's show, we got to watch practice on Friday. You saw what we saw, but I don't think we saw the same thing. Loucks has a message for the country, and so does Link and the rest of the bat and ball crews. Wake Up Warchant is presented by Cummins. CumminsLifestyle. Follow it on Instagram. Check it out over at warchant.com's Tribal Council. The thread will be pinned at the top of it. It'll say Renegade Express Mailbag, Spring Week 2 probably. I try to name every single week, Corey. I don't know if I have anything clever for this one, but it's just the second week of spring. That's probably what it'll be named. You know what to do, everybody. Enter your question. Best one gets featured in the video. It gets entered into a end of month drawing for some free Cummins swag, and ultimately an entry into the end of off-season ultimate tailgate giveaway. What are you waiting for? Subscribe to warchant.com. You got to be a member to get involved. And it's easier than ever now, Corey. Starting today and through the end of the basketball transfer portal, which is the 21st of April, 4 days shy of my wedding, 50% off. 50% off an annual subscription. So now you know you got like a month to get your affairs in order, everybody, to subscribe to warchant.com at 50% off. You'll still get 100% out of Corey Clark and Irish O'Fell and everybody else over at warchant.com. How are you, Corey Clark?
I'm great, Aslan. How are you doing?
I'm well. I don't know if I'm living as well as Brady DiMaggio Clark, but I'm making it. How's our guy doing?
He's doing all right, man. He's I think he's come out on the other side of the heartache and the heartbreak. I hope. And yeah, his baseball team is playing very well after a slow start.
Who cares about the team? What's he doing? How's he doing?
The Clark kid's having a nice little stretch too. So it's all coming together, Aslan. They won a couple of big games this weekend. He had a couple big hits, a couple nice plays in the field. So yeah, it's all coming together, my man. It's all coming together. Hey, and you know what? Thanks for asking. I appreciate it. And I have to add this before we get started. Unfortunately, it looks like I might have developed a taste for fried chicken again because about 15 minutes before we started recording, your boy was just hawking down some fried chicken, and Brady brought me the meal, and I had a side of rice, of dirty rice, but no silverware or no plasticware.
Right. So
ate it with my hands and dumped it in my mouth out of the container.
Okay. Wow.
So I wasn't Clark's best night.
You gotta be adaptable.
But I'm not a fan of what I did. I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is. I had to do something.
I just want to thank you for letting us know earlier in the week or late last week about Brady's exploits. 9-game hitting streak, everybody. And I know that you don't want to jinx him because you're very superstitious, but it's so much.
I don't like that you even said that. But yeah, he's got a nice little streak going. And unlike DiMaggio, it's not like he's going 3 for 4 every game. No multi-hit games. Wow. But every game he's getting a hit. He's walking. He put the ball in play typically. I'm not trying to jinx him. Man.
I just want to say this, Corey, real quick. I'm glad you told me because I would rather hear that he had a 9-game winning streak as it's going on rather than you come here later this week and be like, man, he had a 13-game hit streak, but it ended yesterday. And I didn't want to tell anybody because I didn't want to jinx. It's like, no, man, let us celebrate this. This is awesome.
Yeah. And you know how it is. Baseball's tough, man, as a parent. All sports are tough. But, like, even he had to hit the other day on Saturday, and then his last at-bat, he crushed one, a line drive to left center that wouldn't have hit off the wall. And, of course, the center fielder goes and makes a great running catch right into the wall. And it's like, come on, man, slip and fall down. Let my kid get a double. But, hey, that's the beauty of baseball. That's the beauty of baseball, the beauty of sports in general. Your kid fails. I'm not saying Brady failed on that instance. He hit it really hard. That's all he can do. Another kid made a good play. It's sports. It's life.
Was it a better catch than the one made by the Georgia outfielder on Tennessee on Sunday?
I didn't see that one.
Oh, dude, it's incredible.
Was it a game saver or just it was a great play?
I think it would have been a walk-off home run for Tennessee. The guy hits
they were playing in Athens, so it would have been a go-ahead home run then.
Pimps it, spikes his bat like Gronk, spikes it.
Nice.
Left fielder back against the wall, leaps up, pulls it back, and stole it. Totally stole a home run from him. That's
awesome.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Awesome.
It was great. It's great. I'll I won't post a clip on the YouTube version. Maybe I'll send it to you in the text so you can see what I was talking about. But yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. Hopefully you got to watch some of the videos, everybody out there, and you too, Corey, about practice on Friday, which was open. Football practice. We'll go to football. We'll talk about baseball later. Shout out, though, top of show, sweeping Wake Forest on the road. Big deal. Huge. Link. Trust. Love it. But I don't know, like, really what to bring to the table after watching practice. Like, I felt, we saw practice last year in fall, right? Like the spring, they had the scrimmage that they let some, like, only 2 people per outlet go. So you and Ira went, and then Jeff kind of backdoor, like, well, I'm Jeff Cameron, so I'm a completely different entity. So we kind of had 3 people there. But we actually got to see them practice in the fall. Like, I remember, there was that little soundbite clip from Pot Rose, from Terrence Knighton, like yelling at the guys about, like, what time's the game going to be against Alabama? Like, same effing time. Like, push through it. Like, don't get tired. So, like, there was a palpable feel when you were at practice in that one time last year. We're like, man, this feels a little more urgent, a little more tense, but in a good way than maybe 2024. And I'm like, I had the same kind of feeling when I was at practice on Friday. I'm like, this feels like a different verve than when it was like in 2024, but it feels similar to 2025. So I don't know how much difference it's going to make. But Nick Williams, to me, the edge coach, he's a different guy. I should have probably put the bleep button on my guy, because I think he fired off like F-bombs 4 maybe in like a 20-second span.
Okay, I can get behind that.
A lot of people liked what they saw at Ernie that we posted on the video, because I think Tom was focusing on the linebackers. But the quarterback battle's already started, Corey. The comments, it's incredible, man. There's a whole bunch of people, like, where everyone's picking sides. This feels almost Weatherford, Xavier Lee-like, but I don't know if it's going to be that contentious.
Look, I think the difference is neither one of these guys were like – Xavier Lee was considered the best quarterback in the country, 5-star, super-duper talent. Drew Weatherford was the other guy they signed. Now, Drew Weatherford was a 4-star in his own right and one of the top, I don't know. I think he was an Elite 11 quarterback. In fact, I know he was. He was an Elite 11 quarterback, so he was a big deal too, and they signed 2 of them in that class. This is different because it's not like Ashton Daniels has a bunch of fans out there, but I don't think Kevin Sperry should either. Like, he hasn't earned the right to have people in his corner. You know what I'm saying? Like, Xavier Lee, people just wanted him to materialize into being this great player. And I was going to compare him to Vince Young, but only because they're from the same era and they were both ranked very high as dual threat quarterbacks. I think they were different years. Yeah, they must have been different years. Yeah, he was like 2 or 3 years behind Vince Young. But he was not, as it turned out, as good as Vince Young.
Correct.
At anything. And didn't seem to really enjoy football that much. He couldn't win the job. And when Weatherford struggled, the natural reaction was like, why isn't the 5-star freak in the game? And he'd come in, he'd play good for a game or a half, and then it would deteriorate. That happened 2 years in a row. But anyway, he had built up equity because of how good he was, and the USA Today, I don't know if he's the player of the year, but All-American, Florida, Mr. Florida. These 2 guys, they don't have anybody in their corners like that, do they? I honestly think like most people would be like, oh, just play the best player. Just play the best player, because neither one of these guys has proven to be awesome yet.
Sperry next up. We got a good quarterback depth chart. Sperry is the guy, damn it. I'm not going to lie. Sperry has the best passing form. Y'all, I'm not going to lie. Sperry looks sharper. I think Sperry can win quarterback 1. Just keep at it, progressing every day. Daniel's passes are too sidearm and will get knocked down by the D-line, with Sperry's release point is much higher. Every single sentence I just read was a different person posting it. That wasn't one person or 2 or 3. That was like 7 different people.
Don't you think a lot of that, though, and that's fair. I mean, as much as you can take away from 5 minutes of practice footage, throwing against nobody, that is so much. It does not matter. Sorry, guys. Form, mechanics, that's all great. If you don't see what you're throwing at, if you can't read what you're supposed to be reading and get it out of your hands quick. Kromah might have the best form anyone's ever had as a quarterback. Might be how they teach it. Dude wouldn't throw the ball. So what did it matter? I couldn't see it quickly enough to throw it. So what did it matter? And that's the same thing with this thing. And Xavier Lee's a perfect example. Xavier Lee, they tell stories like he's Paul Bunyan, or they did, about the way he threw a football.
Yeah.
What did all that arm strength matter, or that size matter, if you can't get the ball where you're supposed to get it to on time? And being on time, especially in the middle of the field, is the key to everything. Now, again, Sperry might be that guy, But nobody makes quarterback decisions based on mechanics. Certainly not at the college level, but not anywhere. It's who gets rid of the ball on time, in rhythm. That's it. Who sees it better, who gets you in the right play. Obviously, the physical tools matter. The ability to escape pressure matters. Both of them have that. Daniels has the experience. Sperry, just from what I've seen, might be a more natural thrower of the football. I don't care. I want a guy that's the best quarterback. And that could be Sperry. I'm on record saying that I think he has a much better chance than most people do to actually win this job. And I think it would be cool if he did, because then that might mean that Florida State has something. But we can't make judgments based on 5 minutes of practice video. And I do think no matter the discrepancy in payments, again, Ashton Daniels isn't a millionaire. He's probably being paid more than Sperry. I don't think there's a probably about it, but not so much more that he has to play. I don't even know if they do that anyway. Like, what if last year's Sperry was just incredible in August? Even though Tommy's making what he's making and Sperry's making what he's making, I don't think they say, well, the guy with the bigger check gets to play. No, they're going to play the best guy. I do believe that. I do trust that. They're going to play the guy that gives them the best chance to win in the offense they're running. Maybe it's Sperry, maybe it's Daniels. It sure sounds like Norvell expects it to be Daniels. We shall see.
Well said, as always, Corey. One of the things, again, I feel almost hypocritical because we're talking about you can't really judge these quarterbacks based on them throwing the ball on air on a screen pass to a running back that's got nobody guarding them, which, by the way, screen pass game coming back strong. Norvell reloaded 2.0. Can't wait. Chris Jones did look different, though. So I drove out from Jacksonville, right? Had to drop the dog off at my place in Tallahassee, get to practice. I've got these new glasses, Corey, they're called transitions, which they go from sunglasses outdoors to just clear glasses indoors. I always thought transitions were like bifocals.
That's what mine are called, but they're bifocals.
Yeah. Anyways, so I'm not in a rush, but I'm like, all right, let me get here and get situated right before practice starts. And I'm filming, and I'm I just don't have the same feel. My eyes, I'm not pulling the same images in my mind that I usually am when I'm using this camera. And it's because my glasses are now sunglasses. I'm like, oh gosh, I got to take these off. But then I take them off and I really can't see that well. But I remember filming a drill, and I'm like, that guy looked different than everybody else that just went through the line. I don't know who it is. Don't recall. It was Chris Jones. So, again, I know it's weird to sit here and be like, all right, it doesn't matter what a quarterback's doing in the first day of pads and practice, but a linebacker exploding off the drill, that does mean something. I feel like, at least with his track record, what he has done makes you know that, 2 and 2 together, all right, man, he's performed. He does look different, of a different vintage, of a different caliber than what we've seen here in the last year or two. So I'm probably late to the game on the buying Chris Jones stock, but I will buy Chris Jones stock, Corey.
Yeah, man, I think he's going to be really good. Hopefully he stays healthy. He looks the way he looks, right? Even that is impressive. Holy cow, this guy you would just look at him and think he's born to play football. But then look at his numbers. And you're like, okay, yeah, he might have been born to play linebacker. He looks like one of those guys that was born to play linebacker. But a lot of people can look like that. There aren't many walking the earth, but we've seen our fair share of guys that look the part but don't play the part. My man he was fourth in the country in tackles. He has a knack for the ball on top of being that kind of physical specimen. That bodes very, very well. Stay healthy, be a leader, and make plays. I feel like, again, this guy has 180 tackles 2 years into his college career, and he's still a teenager, right? I think he's a teenager until May. I think there's a chance this guy might be one of those dudes that I don't know where he's going to get drafted. I don't know how he's going to test, what his size and speed are, but he might be one of those guys that you wake up. Well, I'll wake up when I'm 63, and he'll have been in the league for a decade and a half. Just one of those guys, right? I mean, there's a chance he's that guy. He is a very big deal. To me, we'll see how it plays out. He's not on as good a team, and he's not playing with as good of players, but he should be more impactful than Tatum Bethune was.
Ooh.
Similar type of resumes, right? But Bethune was a little older when he got here.
Yeah.
Also was never quite healthy at Florida State. Couldn't stay healthy. But, I mean, I'm just 150. Like Bethune, remember that was the thing I would say about him is like, man, you don't just luck into 15 tackles in one game.
Right.
And 13 tackles into another game. Like that means you can you snuff out plays really well. You fight off blocks and you go get the ball. There aren't many guys built like that. Bethune was built like that. Chris Jones was built like that. But I can promise you Chris Jones is a better linebacker as a teenager than Tatum Bethune was. Now we'll see how it translates as they mature and get older. But man, alive! It's good to know that he was impressive when you saw him. Not even really knowing who you're looking for.
Exactly.
That he's that impressive just off the hoof.
Yeah.
And then also the fact that his numbers are outrageous for his age is pretty remarkable.
He wears the number 10, Corey, he says, because he wants to emulate D. Brooks.
Is that number not? I guess they don't retire him anymore, right?
Right.
It's honored.
Right.
They're
Well, they
what
retire
do they call
the jersey, not the number.
Yeah, the number's not retired. The jersey's retired. Yeah.
Says he thinks the number should be retired, but he's excited to wear it. And that's cool. Of all the people, I know we're not maybe linebacker you, but of all the people that you want to maybe like emulate, I mean, obviously you can't go better than Derek Brooks, but like for him to kind of pick that back, and what would that have been like if Vince Williams would have been like, I want Paul McGowan's number, you know, like it's a good pull.
Yeah, I want 38. Weirdly, they should retire McGowan's jersey because nobody wants to wear number 38. Retire that thing, and he deserved it. He was the first major award winner in Florida State history. A little bit of trivia for you guys. 1987, he was a guy. Now again, one of those short-necked bulldozer, bulldog-type linebackers from the 80s. He won the Butkus Award in 1987. I think he was Florida State's leading tackler like 3 years in a row. And that 87 team is the one that started the dynasty. He was one of the best defensive players on it. Dion was probably the best. But McGowan won the Butkus Award. And I think he won it by one vote over Chris Spielman. I think that's what happened. And so, yeah, a little trivia for you. If you're not familiar with who Paul McGowan is, he was Florida State's first ever major award winner. Followed soon thereafter by Dion, who won. I guess Dion and him both won the Thorpe. I think Dion won the Thorpe in '87 too. He definitely won it in '88. But anyway, they've won a bunch since then. But he's a little bit of history for you guys.
Benny Blades and Ricky Dixon in '87. Dion in '88.
They tied. Benny Blades and Ricky Dixon. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Dion got hosed. But Paul McGowan won it in '87, right? Is that right? Oh, you didn't look that up. You don't have to look it up.
I do want to look it up. I want to see the.
I'm right.
The Spielman. What was the award we just talked about?
Butkus, but I thought Paul McGowan beat him by exactly one vote. And Spielman was the big superstar that was going to be the first round pick. Everybody had been talking about him for years. He was at Big Bad Ohio State, and McGowan, I won it by one vote.
Can't find anything. Oh, now this is the Google AI overview. Florida State linebacker Paul McGowan won the 1987 Butkus Award in one of the closest votes in awards history, beating Ohio State's Chris Spielman by a single point. Corey Clark, everybody.
Just, whatever, though. I didn't Stephanie was bothering me about something. I shouldn't phrase it like that. Stephanie was reminding me of something today before we did the show, and I didn't have any real clue what she was talking about. She's like, do you ever listen when our friends talk? She didn't say it with that tone,
nope,
I guess. We were on the phone. It was a text. But no, I don't. I only got so much space.
No.
And it's so I can remember that Paul McGowan beat Chris Spielman by one vote in a awards voting that happened 40 years ago. So, cool times.
Yeah. Cool times is also maybe a slogan that was focus group for the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
Perfect, Aslan. Well done.
2475 Appalachian Parkway.
I was wondering how you're going to land that plane, but you did it.
CPTallybar.com, the website. Tuesday, tomorrow, trivia night, 7 p.m. It's also Taco Tuesday, so get some food, get some ice-cold beverages, and get some trivia with your friends. Thursday night is bingo night. And then Thursday, well, actually, no, Wednesday, right? Doesn't or is Tuesday the tournament begin with the play-in games?
So, well, yes, but also no trivia on Tuesday because it's St. Patrick's Day.
Ooh.
So I think they're going to have, I should know this, but I think they're going to have live music for St. Patrick's Day night. And then, I think that we'll have bingo on Thursday. But, yeah, the basketball games start Tuesday night with the first four, Wednesday night first four, or whatever they call it. And then Thursday, all day, baby, from noon till midnight. And the Noles won't be there, sadly.
Yeah. Kind of wanted to do the bachelor party in Vegas for opening weekend. But then I'm like, well, that's all we're going to do, though, is we're going to sit and gamble and watch basketball, which isn't a terrible thing to do. I decided to make everybody freeze their blank off in New York City. Sorry about that, guys. If they come to Tallahassee, I'm going to take them out to the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, and it'll make it all right, everybody. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, cptallybar.com, the website. Warchant, not the only entity you need in your life that's running a mega sale this month. The annual Ridge sale is underway. Save up to 40% at ridge.com when you use the promo code WAKEUP. Ridge uses high-grade components and stands by their products to the tune of a 99-day free trial and backed with a lifetime warranty. Are you like me and already have a Ridge wallet? Congrats. Thank you for joining the crew. Check out their tracker card. It's the same form factor as a credit card. You put it in your Ridge wallet, and you can use Apple Find My to locate it with GPS, or you can engage the location ringer. So yeah, you can hit a button like on your phone on the app. It will make your wallet emit a sound so that you can locate it. It's better than like trying to find your car in the airport parking lot. Head to ridge.com, use the promo code WAKEUP at checkout. The annual sale is on now at ridge.com/wakeup. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant. It is presented by CumminsLifestyle. Follow it on Instagram. We also spoke to Usman Kromah on Friday. We spoke to Mike Norvell. Another one of the guys I thought that looked different to me, like physically, was Diamante Diggs.
Okay.
Him and Jaden Todd, both of them. That was a nugget I threw on the Tribal Council for our subscribers. If you wait long enough, I'll talk about it on the podcast, everybody. But Jaden Todd, to me, I think is much more impressive in terms of the transformation he went through versus Diggs. But to me, Diggs felt very like tweener kind of last season, but he looks definitely more like an edge rusher now, like explosive, maybe a word I would use. But Mike said that he thought that Diggs has done a good job as well of like transforming himself, and thought that he had some flash plays on Friday. So he was like, oh, that's a good observation. I'm like, thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. But yeah, Jaden Todd, man. Jaden Todd was like, I don't want to say sloppy. That sounds rude, but like kind of and doughy. I mean, just a big 320-pound 18-year-old kid, right? That wasn't in a big-time major powerhouse high school program where they were probably, really hammering weight training down your gullet. But he took whatever he did this offseason seriously, man. He looks lean and mean. So that's another homegrown piece that hopefully can get involved in the mix.
How did Kromah look? Did he look like he's still working out?
Yeah, man. He's a freak, man. Just got the good genetics and all that sort of stuff. So he said that I think his vision has gotten better. Says that he's thankful to have Wisner back. Wisner. Okay. Let me say Wisner. Wisner back. And then I asked him a question that got a lot of people irritated on the internet, Corey. I asked him about just like, it's a individual choice everybody makes, right? To figure out what's best for them. Like, why was it best for you to not enter the transfer portal? Like, why did you not enter the transfer portal? And he gave a very short answer. He was like, I trust Norvell. He's like, I didn't need to go anywhere else. I trust Mike Norvell. I'm like, all right, cool. Oh, that was good. Like, all right, that's pretty much kind of almost what you got from Daniel Lyons in terms of like, why did you decide to end your career, here at Florida State? Like, man, I'm a Nole. Like, they built me. I was here when they lost. I was here when they won. I'm going to get us back winning. Like, good. Like basically like a kind of a vote of confidence, if you will. So Kromah obviously has out with Norvell. Norvell was the guy that was constantly like every single game Kromah played. I mean, he was the guy that would go on those Friday night game visits and like watch Kromah. And that made a huge impact with him, obviously, for him to select Florida State over Georgia and then to stick around. But it feels like he is ready to kind of maybe take a larger role in what things are going to be like. But Wisner is going to be definitely pushing him or maybe vice versa. Good problem to have, those two guys. Champagne problems, I feel like. Yeah,
again, they're very good. I shouldn't say they're very good. Wisner has proven to be a more than capable. I mean, again, he ran for 1,000 yards at Texas. He wasn't running for 1,000 yards at Duquesne. He was at Texas for a playoff team. He's got the goods, man. He can play. I mean,
Kromah averaged almost 7 yards a carry last year. I mean, I don't know how much of that was against East Texas A&M and Kent State, but I mean, he rushed for 408, on 72 carries. It
wasn't like he looked lost when he was in the games against real teams. I know he had he
fumbled against Miami.
But who didn't screw up in that game?
Correct.
Other than that, I think that's true. He
had 12 for 63 against Virginia, 7 for 55 against Pitt, 11 for 59 against Virginia Tech. So yeah, he had some.
Those are real teams.
Moments.
2 of them you lost. We'll never understand that rotation. But he has some jump cut stuff to him. Now, I'm sure there was some stuff he didn't do well, and he left some yards out there. He wasn't always great. But Kromah, a year older, a year bigger, a year faster, a year stronger, all that stuff. Maybe he's the starting running back. I mean, that wouldn't surprise us either, right?
I'd be
like
surprised if he
Wisner
starts over Wisner. Yeah, I'd be surprised.
But
what does starting running back even mean, though?
Right?
Like a Trey Benson. So what we had Trey and Toafili like in 23. I think if that was the kind of role, the way the division of labor was, if you will, like I would think that Wisner is your Benson and Kromah is your Toafili, despite the fact that they have different kind of body types, right? Like Wisner is more of like a Toafili all-purpose guy, and Trey's more of like a home run power runner, kind of like Kromah.
I also think that they might play together a good bit.
Ooh, little two backs.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense. Like if you have got 2 good guys that you like, why not have them? You're allowed to have them on the field at the same time. I've seen it. Seen other teams do it. So I think there's a chance that could happen. But I don't think anybody listening to this would be surprised if by the middle of the season or the end of the year that they would have close to the same number of touches. Like it wouldn't be, to me, that would not be stunning. I don't foresee Kromah being a change of pace guy that gets 7 carries a game to Wisner's 21. I don't see that. I think it's if you're going to run the ball 30 times, I think it's going to be 17 for one and 13 for another, or 18 and 12, or 15 and 15. I just think they like Kromah a lot, and they should. They're paying him a lot of money, which they make earn. Let him go earn the money. Also, he's good. Like you just read those numbers. That's pretty good. And he never really got a chance. I would love to see what he looked like in a rhythm. Yeah. Like, it's the truth, man. You talk to running backs, and I do all the time, Aslan. I have that new podcast, Corey and the Running Backs, where I'm talking to running backs all the time. And plus, I was one. You know that.
Right.
In high school, I was incredible. I scored 4 touchdowns against Polk.
Cobb County's Earl Campbell.
Yeah,
or Gwinnett.
That's what they used to call me because I had the tearaway jersey, so nobody could tackle me. But a lot of those guys will talk about like a starting pitcher almost. Like you get a chance to work yourself into the game. You make a couple bad pitches, you give up a couple of runs, but the more you get the ball, the more comfort you feel, and the more of a rhythm you get into, where you're better on the 18th carry than you are the 5th carry. A lot of running backs are like that. All the great running backs have been like that. Now, they're good on the first carry too, but again, you work your way into it a little bit, and he never really got that chance. No. And I'd like to see him get the chance. I'd like to see him be the workhorse running back on a drive late in the third quarter after he's already got 13 carries. I want to see what it looks like. I think he might be good, Aslan. And last year was dumbfounding how they handled that position in total, but especially how they handled him.
Yeah,
but you're saying he does look like he's in good shape.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. That's a piece of cake. So looking at 2022, Trey had 154 carries. Trayshawn Ward had 95. Toafili had 93.
So if you just combine those two and made it 180 to 150, you know what I mean? You're only going.
I don't think Singleton though, man. Sam Singleton looks part of the plans.
If you're going to have 330 carries a game, or 330 carries in a season, 330 rushing attempts in a season by your running backs. I mean, I would like him to get 160 of them.
Kromah?
Yes.
Okay.
That's not. It's like
I'm not opposed to it. Yeah.
That's like 13 a game. That's 14 a game. That's not crazy. It's not taxing. And also, you're right though. Singleton is a guy. He's the guy that can hit the home run. And it'd be really nice after a couple of Kromah possessions or Kromah runs, especially if you're blocking it up well, to bring in the guy that can run past everyone. And also, Singleton's much better than I ever thought he was going to be. I'm telling you guys, we used to watch practice a lot when we were allowed. I didn't see the vision with him at all. I didn't see that he had the natural vision or cutting ability of a really good running back or even a good running back. He shut me up and surprised me a good bit last year. He's still not perfect, but he's much better than I thought he'd be, and he might be a real part of this running back rotation too. It's just I don't want him taking Kromah carries. Ooh. But I say that. I don't want to take him Wisner carries either. So, maybe, yeah, but I don't know, Aslan. Hopefully they'll all be on the field a lot in 2 running back sets.
We got Deuce, we got Danzy, we got Boggs.
Too many weapons.
3 running backs, too many weapons.
Too many weapons, man. What are they going to do?
Who would have thunk? He had more carries, Kromah, against Alabama than he did against Miami, Stanford, Wake, Clemson, NC State, and Florida. That's weird.
Yeah, man. And I think Keziah, in one of those games, Keziah Holmes had 2 carries. He had 2 16-yard runs and then never played again. So, whatever, man. It was just, it's baffling.
All right, that's pretty much everything that happened in football on Friday for you folks. There is no football practice this week because it's spring break. But we'll find ways to force a football. I'm sure there'll be lots of questions in the Renegade Express mailbag about football as well. I want to devote a lot of time to baseball, so maybe we'll make that like the last segment. We need to do one more break. So let's talk about hoops, I guess, Corey. So I almost tricked myself into watching the selection show on Sunday to see if Florida State was going to get in because I'd seen like several analysts on Twitter just talking about Florida State's been playing so well lately that it wouldn't surprise them. Like they deserve it almost. They did not get in though.
No.
And listen, Luke even said it after they beat. Who'd they beat in the first game? Cal. Mm-hmm. They was like, listen, man, like I'm not here to lobby. He's like, but I don't think there's anybody, there's not 25 teams playing better than Florida State.
Nope.
He tweeted this on Sunday evening. Congratulations to all the teams. By the way, they're not going to play in the NIT, everybody, as Corey advised him not to. So congratulations to all the teams that were selected for the NCAA tournament. It is the best tournament on earth. True, correct. FSU Hoops will be invited to the party soon enough, and we won't stop working until we get back to dancing every season. I see a lot of teams we would beat right now. Go Noles. I'm like, oh. Yep. Like that last. What do you think about that last sentence? I see a lot of teams we would beat right now. Go Noles.
He's not wrong. In fact, there's Clemson's in. They beat them. Miami's in. They beat them. Virginia, they should have beaten. SMU. Did SMU make it?
SMU made it, man. It's the last 4 in.
Yeah. So they beat them. They almost beat Florida. They almost beat Duke twice. Now, they're not as good as Florida. And they're not as good as Duke.
Unfortunately.
But, the thing because I watched a lot of that ACC championship game on Saturday night. And, man, watching what Duke did to Clemson and then in the semifinals and then what Duke did to Virginia in the finals, and that was a very close game. But I don't think you could argue that the last 2 months, starting January 14th, Florida State was the 3rd best team in the conference. It was Duke and Virginia. They separated themselves with the way they played, how many games they won, where they finished in the standings. But Florida State, after the horrific start, was as good as anybody else in the conference. You can make the argument with Miami because they split with Miami, each winning on the other's court. But I think Florida State in totality was a better team during that stretch. I think they won more on the road. I think they had a better record during that stretch. Of course, Miami didn't lose their first 5 games in conference like Florida State did. So, yeah, man, I don't disagree. I think Florida State turned itself into a Sweet 16 caliber team by the end of the year. They don't get a chance to do it, and that's another lesson we haven't talked really about at all when it comes to Luke and building this program. I think he had I don't know, man. He had starry eyes when he took over. In hindsight, maybe Houston, A&M, at Dayton.
Maybe he thought they were going to play like this the whole season, though, Corey. Maybe like he thought that they had this in them from day one. Like it was going to take 2 months to.
But it does sometimes because they're all new. He hadn't coached any of these guys. Clearly, he was the first-year head coach. These guys had never played together. So I'll be interested to see how he schedules this year. You've always got to play Florida, and you've always got to play the SEC ACC Challenge. So Georgia and Florida were already there. But the at Houston game.
At Dayton, in hindsight,
if those are home games against North Florida or Jacksonville or somebody, I don't know that it matters. I don't know that a loss by 15 or 12 to Houston or whatever it was, how that affects your net ranking or your RPI as much as a 20-point win at home. I do know it helps build confidence, though. Like, especially a team that's never played together. And Florida State baseball has been doing this for years now. They don't start out typically with, a 3-game set against LSU.
That was the cool thing about that Texas tournament. It made the non-conference schedule as well feel a lot shorter because they had that second week. Like, we're going to go play some big boy teams. I know,
and I love that. That's a dash of it, right?
Yeah.
But it's not they don't start out with a 3-game series against LSU and then a home series against whatever Texas A&M. Like they get some. They want to play some northern schools that they're probably going to beat. Get that win total up. Get the confidence built. And I think Luke maybe didn't appreciate how much confidence will matter to, even if they're an older team, which they were, to a new team that has never played together, and all of a sudden, they're getting boat raced by A&M and Georgia. And it's like, okay, do we suck? Are we not any good? Like, are we not good enough to compete? Are we going to go winless in the ACC? Like, legitimately, that's how it looked there at stretches. And I wonder, as he grows as a coach, and trust me, I'm a believer in Luke Loucks now after the turnaround he did. I do wonder, even with a better team and a better roster, if he dials that down a little bit. Because I just don't know what the benefit was, another loss. Like, you already had to play Duke. You are Duke, North Carolina, Virginia, at Clemson, at Miami, like all these tournament teams. And Florida. You knew you had to play at Florida, the defending national champs. Then you dial up a game against a 2 seed in Houston and at Dayton, who I don't know if they made the tournament. I don't know if they ended up being any good or not. But those are hard asks. So it'll be interesting to see what he does for the schedule this year. But I wonder if their record, instead of being 18-15, if they had scheduled a little bit easier and were 21-12, would that have mattered? 21-12 with 11 wins in the ACC. Is your RPI that much higher? Or did playing Houston, because of what it did for your strength of schedule, does that offset, even though you lost the game, does that offset a win over a team that's ranked like 220th? I'm not smart enough to know. But Luke is, and I think Luke will dial in what's the best case for our net ranking, our RPI ranking. He is going to try to massage that enough. So play a tough-ish non-conference schedule. But don't go crazy with it, because you're in the ACC, and the ACC was good this year, or pretty good anyway. And like I said, at the end of the year, I think his team was the third best team in the conference.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Why would you wander around a warehouse store looking for paint when you could just swing by your neighborhood Ace? In addition to Ace's award-winning service, we have top-rated paint brands. Plus, our color matching technology allows us to match any color. So stop wandering and start painting. Head to your neighborhood Ace today.
In Crawfordville, your home convenience store is Ace Home Center and Napa Auto Parts, located at 2709 Crawfordville Highway. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant is presented by Cummins. Follow CumminsLifestyle on Instagram. Good weekend for the bat and ball folk that wear the garnet and gold. Florida State goes up to Winston-Salem, opens up ACC play against number 12 Wake Forest, and proceeds to promptly run rule them on Friday, 10-0.
Yeah.
Followed up with a gem of a performance from Trey Beard, where Mendez was on fire Friday, and then Trey Beard's like, I can do that too. Punches out 14 and 6 2/3 innings and a 2-0 win, where John Abraham comes on for the save and gets the last 7 outs, sorry.
Yeah.
And that was, had some situations that he had to kind of navigate out of, at least when he came on in the game, Abraham. So to like grind a game out 2-0 against Wake Forest after they're pissed off and you humiliated them on Friday, and then they come on Sunday and just start raining bombs down on Wake Forest. They probably should have been able to run rule them, but they kind of, maybe got a little bit complacent, fat and happy, or maybe Wake just got some pride reinstilled in them. But then they win 12-6 on Sunday, Corey. Really good performance. No context needed, but especially with maybe the slight doubt that would enter your mind after the way they looked in Gainesville on Tuesday, going against some really good high octane pitching. Like how can they do this on the road against Wake, a team that's got maybe not similar velocity and number of arms, but they have some good pitchers, and to go up there and do what they did, just move me from the hopefully Omaha to like maybe Omaha if they can be this team.
Yeah, man. Look, on Saturday, the strike zone was wide. I'm going to go ahead and say that because the Wake Forest kid was electric too. But Trey Beard pitched better. I think his name is Lavonis. I think he's draft eligible next year, and he's probably going to be, if he stays healthy, I'm guessing he's a top 10 pick. Like, he is awesome. But Trey Beard was better. And I didn't know that Trey Beard could look like that. I knew he was good, but that was electric. He had all 4 pitches working. He was throwing hard enough, like low 90s, low to mid 90s, probably 92, 93. The other kid was throwing 99. His changeup was sensational. It is sensational, but it looks even better when he's spotting with the it was just a work of art, both of them. So, Aslan, the first 2 games of the series, Wake Forest hitters were 3 of 50 for the games. 3 of 50. They got 3. I think Abraham didn't give up a hit.
And struck
Beard
out.
gave up 1, and Mendez gave up 2.
27 times they struck out.
Yeah. But 27 times out of 48 outs. And a couple of them were thrown out on the bench. Like, it was as dominant a 1-2 effort from 2 starting pitchers against a top 12 team that I can ever remember. Like, I don't go back. I mean, I know who Jonathan Johnson is in the Paul Wilson days and all that, but I wasn't covering the team back then, obviously. But to start a conference season with that kind of performance, the whole weekend is as good as Florida State's ever. There's no way they've had a better start to a conference season than what they did this weekend. Now, it's just 3 games. I will throw out those caveats. It's 3 games. And maybe Wake Forest, for some reason, sucks. I don't think they do. But they were overpowered and overwhelmed. So much so that Bryson Moore on Sunday, I think, went 5 2/3, gave up 1 run, and it was the first batter of the game, hit a home run. And after that, he gave up 3 hits over the next 5 2/3 innings and struck out 7. And he was easily the worst pitcher of the starting 3. It's unbelievable what that starting trio was, and that's where you start to project, like, okay, maybe this starting pit. If Mendez has taken this leap, because he looked great so far, right? He looked great as the Friday night guy this season, but he'd also been pitching against Northern Kentucky in the Citadel, not on the road at Wake Forest. But for him to look like that, maybe he really did level up. In both those guys this weekend, now it's March, it's not June. They looked like first-day draft picks. Like, they looked like first-rounders, both of them. Just electric stuff. Mowed down that offense. So that was really good to see because we think that's going to be the strength of the team. We think it should be the strength of the team. But you never know, and I didn't know how strong it was going to be. And I thought, well, I think I was right to think, well, even if they're good, Mendez and Beard and Moore, it won't be as good as last year's weekend rotation, which had a first-round pick, a really good college pitcher in Joey Vellini, and then Mendez is the Friday night or the Sunday guy. Well, I don't know, man. I'll tell you this: Arnold, Vellini, and Mendez last year never combined to have a weekend like these 3 guys just did.
Amen, man.
I mean, what did you say? It was 7, 6, 13. They pitched 19.1 innings combined, the 3 of them. Struck out 32 and gave up 7 hits and 1 run against a top 12 team.
On the road.
So that was really, really encouraging. And then, Eli Putnam hit 3 home runs on the weekend. Braden Dowd hit 2. It's good to see Putnam's a part of the lineup. Putnam's a part of the team now.
Yep.
And he needed to be all along. I don't know what happened in the preseason. I'm not going to speculate. I really don't know. But the fact that he didn't start for the first 2 weekends or 3 weekends was bizarre because of the power that he has. Obviously, I thought he was going to be in the lineup. I thought he'd be a mainstay, and he couldn't. He got 2 at bats in the first 2 weeks, I think, and finally got in the starting lineup. And what he gives you, Aslan, is like Wake has a weird ballpark, right? It's short
turf.
in areas.
Yeah.
It's short in areas. It is all turf. The warning track is a different shade of turf that goes up a hill because why not? Why not just put a hill out there? That's cool. And so he hit some balls where he didn't come close to getting them. Didn't come close. Like his home run he hit on Sunday, a pop-up. Didn't get it. I think he put his head down after he hit it because he thought he'd missed it, and he didn't get all of it, and it was going to be a fly out to left. It landed over the fence. It's fun to have guys like that. In that kind of power is really, really important in the postseason because it's really hard when you play elite pitching. And now Wake has some really good starting pitchers, really good pitchers in general. Like, they got some guys, man. They weren't ranked 12th for no reason. When you're going to face teams like that, it is hard typically to string together 3 or 4 or 5 hits to score 3 runs. But a hit by pitch, a walk, and then you have a 6'4", 6'5" behemoth like Putnam or Bailey that even if they don't hit it squared up completely, can score 3 runs. And that's why I thought Putnam should be in the lineup, because of the power element, because they were lacking it. So anyway, the first 12 games of the season, they were 10-2. They'd hit a grand total of 10 home runs. The last 7 games, they've hit 16.
Nice.
Including all 16 the last 2 weekends. 8-8, or I think, maybe 7-9, whatever it is. The home runs are really encouraging. And, that was just a great showing by the baseball team. It kind of, they were number 20 going in. I don't know, man. I would certainly think they're top 10 when the polls come out later today. I would think they'd be top 10 in at least a few of them, because nobody had a better weekend. It's impossible for anybody to have had a better weekend than Florida State baseball did. Going on the road, winning 3 games, 2 in blowout fashion, and the other one you gave up 1 hit. I mean, come on, man. So anyway, they play Bethune-Cookman on Tuesday, and then they welcome NC State to Dick Howser Stadium this weekend.
Should see how NC State's been this year. One thing I did want to add about Wes Mendez that Link talked about on Thursday was, and like I don't have the proper jargon for all this, and he didn't really go too overly analytical and technical on, but he said that like whatever, pitchman, no, that's TrackMan. Totally screwed that up. But basically whatever they use for their pitching lab data, when it tracks all these pitches, right, it grades it. It gives you all this feedback on how it looks, how it moves, the spins, everything, right? And apparently change-ups, it's like whatever. You can't impress it. It's like whatever. You threw a change-up, cool. But he said that Wes Mendez's change-up like actually metrically makes that system provide like a different level of feedback of like positive, like, oh, that was really good. So, I mean, that just shows you that he's, to your point about like if he actually leveled up, sounds like he did. Sounds like he did. If he's doing something that a AI trained machine is like, I'm not impressed by anybody else. But then when he throws it, he's like, all right, man, that was cool.
Yeah, man, he's taken a real leap. It would seem. I mean, again, you could kind of talk yourself into, well, maybe again, Northern Kentucky, the Citadel, whoever, James Madison. What he did against Wake, man, and they got their
Michigan.
second.
He did shove against Michigan. I know it's Michigan, but
right.
Like, that Texas game.
You're right. So. You're right. He was good against them too. Like, man, he's stacking them together. Where right now, I mean, again, it's early-ish, but you wouldn't be surprised if this guy's a first or second round pick. And I didn't think. I mean, last year's ERA was over 5, I think, or close to 5. It ain't now. And then you've got Beard, who, again, he looked fine his first few starts, but it wasn't like, oh, my gosh, this is the dude.
Yeah.
And then he went and outperformed Mendez. And then Bryson Moore's like, hey, man, I'm pretty good too. And you're like, yeah, whatever, man. You actually gave up a run. Get out of here, scrub. You get out here. They got to touch home plate against you. Just, again, remarkable stuff. And the offense – Paulino, it's going to be – Link's got – what I like about it is the versatility. Bailey's a mainstay. Cal Fisher's a mainstay because of the defense. He's not hitting yet. He will, but he's not right now. And I would guess – and also Shmalia had a really good weekend. Yeah, really good.
Hit the home run, hit the solo home run to give them the lead in the game on Saturday.
Yeah, he had 2 home runs. He had a couple of blistering hits on Sunday, caught well behind the plate. But I still think he and Carnes will rotate, although Carnes didn't play at all this weekend. But Dowd is a mainstay when he's healthy.
Is now, I think Brody will be now that Brody's healthy.
I don't know, man. I wonder about that. He, on Saturday now they were facing elite pitching, but he went 0 for 4 with 4 Ks. He did have a hit
on Friday, I think,
and on Sunday too.
He went 1 for 5. Yeah,
and I think Bavaro right now has etched his name in the lineup for a while. But I do think because there will be ups and downs. It's not like you're gonna if let's just say DeLamielleure goes 0 for a weekend with a bunch of strikeouts, you're not just tied to him. Noah Sheffield's around. And if Noah Sheffield has a couple of bad games, like he didn't. Everybody had a bad game against Florida, and then I don't think he did much the first 2 games against Wake. Well, he didn't play on Sunday. They put in Paulino, who went and had 3 hits. Stutzer, who didn't have a good week at all. Again, the competition they're facing has risen to the moon. He didn't have a good weekend at all. But on Sunday, they moved him to the 9 spot. They put Dowd back at leadoff, and all Stutzer did was walk twice, steal a base, and hit basically the game-clinching grand slam on an 0-2 pitch, where because he's really strong, the ball jumps off his bat when it makes contact. A laser to right field that looked off the bat like it was going to be right at the right fielder that ended up 10 feet over the fence. But the point is, there's a lot of Carter McCulley is still a guy they like. There's a lot of possibilities and ways to maneuver the lineup where if somebody's struggling, you don't just have to ride with it.
Chase Williams did a little bit on Sunday.
So what they did in that one, which I think is it was awesome. This is what I envisioned being the case, is Paulino gets a hit. I think they're up 8-1 in the 7th. He gets another hit. They pinch run Chase Williams for him, thinking, okay, well, that single to right is now a double because Chase Williams gets to pinch run. Now, it ended up he got to second on a base hit on the next pitch, and then they tried to bunt him to third, but Bavaro got hit with a pitch, so the bases were lower than Stutzer hit the grand slam. So we never really got to show his wheels. But again, that's how I envision this thing going. If he can't make his way back into the lineup, and he might.
But his presence, though, right, man? Like, that's what Link's talked about. Like, when he gets on base, it makes everybody on the defense tense, makes the pitcher tense, makes the catcher tense. Like, his presence alone because of his speed. So, I mean, I'm not saying that's why, necessarily they got a base hit on the next thing, but it's a factor, man. Like, to your point, like when he gets on base, like, all right, man, he's not really on first. He's almost like 90 feet away. He's 180 feet away when he's on first.
Right, and that's what's so cool about it, is that kind of weapon in the dugout. And I was wondering if they were going to do that, because I thought there was a spot on Saturday they could have done it. I think it was after Putnam's RBI single in the ninth. It was a really big hit with 2 strikes because there's only 1-0 at the time. For him to hit that, it was a big hit to make it 2-0. And again, that was another thing. I think Dowd got hit on an 0-2 count with nobody on in a 1-0 game. He gets hit on an 0-2 pitch, which turns into a double because he steals second. And then Putnam drives him home on a really good approach with 2 strikes, just right back up the middle line drive. You're stealing a run that way. And then when Putnam got the hit, because he's not a great second baseman, and they have guys that can play second, like McCulley, I think, if he's available and healthy, I would have thought they'd have pinch run Chase Williams in that spot with 2 outs, and then Eli Putnam on first. Put Chase Williams in, and that RBI single becomes a double and maybe a triple. But it's cool to know that Link's thinking like that too. And why shouldn't he? Great minds think alike. That Chase Williams, if he's not starting, he is still going to be a weapon in big games. And he should be a weapon in every game. He could still lead the conference in steals if you use him right. But anyway, so all in all, I think they made 1 error on the weekend. Putnam had 1, which you're going to have to live with that. He's not a good second baseman, everyone. He's not a good second baseman. But when you're striking out 60% of the batters, you don't need great fielders everywhere. What's the point in having a great fielding defense if the other team's only putting the ball in the play for 11 times? And 6 of those are probably flyouts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you can hide a little bit with Putnam at second base because of what he provides power-wise.
Not stoked that Meeble and Kinnear got kind of pushed around a little bit on Sunday. Wanted to see them bounce back after what happened in Gainesville, but they still give you some of your better options, I feel like, but we'll see. I mean, they combined for 3 innings, and the game was kind of in hand, and they let Wake Forest get a little bit of belief. On to NC State, as you said, Corey. NC State entered the week ranked 10th at 14-2, but they're now 16-4. They lost to Elon in the midweek. 2-0.
Okay, well, that happens.
And then they
2-0 is a little odd.
And then they beat Boston College at home 4-2, lost 12-5 on Saturday, and then came back and won the rubber game 5-1 on Sunday.
Okay. I think Boston College is pretty good, though. I think they beat Miami at least once. They might have beaten them twice, but they were in they were in that series with Miami. So yeah, that's a pretty good team.
Can't believe it's taking so long to load. Come on, NCAA website. Come on, Charlie Parker. President of them. Yep, it won't load. Let's talk about softball. Incredible midweek game for Lonnie and the ladies. Wednesday, they face Texas Tech at the Plex, Corey, 6 p.m. on ACC Network. That comes off the heels of them also starting ACC play. They swept Syracuse, 12-1 run rule on Friday, 13-1 on Saturday, and then 11-6 on Sunday. What's Issa Torres batting right now, Corey?
I was just about to look. you put me on the spot.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Tough when that happens, right?
Yeah, I know. I will say this, that she has gotten on base at 19 straight plate appearances, which I've never heard of anything like that. Literally, I mean, I've been following bat and ball sports my entire life. 19 straight plate appearances getting on base is insanity. She is, what do we say? She's 24 of 27 since she came back from the injury. So I think she suffered a concussion against Alabama, and she missed a week or what? Let's see how many games. She missed 8 games. So for her to come back after 8 games, she is now 24 of 27 since coming back. She is hitting .648. So Jason E. Beecham is hitting 245 points below the person that bats in front of her, and she's a 400 hitter. She's batting .403. So I don't the superlatives are, you run out of them, man. Like this isn't normal. Obviously people know that hitting .648 this deep into a season isn't normal. But it's not just the numbers, man. I just want to stress that. I mean, the numbers are the numbers. She's got 46 hits. She scored 28 runs. She scored 28 runs in 21 games. She's got 46 hits in 21 games to go along with 11 walks and 3. So she's been on base 60 times in 21 games. That's unbelievable. That's like T-ball. I don't know if there are leadoff hitters in T-ball that get on base 60 times in 21 games. She hasn't made an error at shortstop. She just is a unbelievable, unreal talent because she gets on base so many different ways. It's not like she's scalding the ball with line drives every at bat. She bunts her way on. Any ground ball that gets to the shortstop is probably a hit. Any weak ground ball almost anywhere is a hit. She also scored from first on a pop fly double that got lost in the sun because she kept running as soon as the ball was hit and then made a great slide at home. But I just want to stress, because it's going to end, and it'll probably end Wednesday, everyone. They're facing Texas Tech, and you know who. So nobody gets on base against that one. To get on base 19 straight times and to go 24 of 27 is unheard of. And, again, just a junior. It was funny. They were talking to Lonnie during the game on Sunday, and the guy doing the game, I think his name is Nevada. Do you know him? Have you ever met him?
Who now?
His name is Nevada, I think. The play-by-play guy that was doing the softball game for Florida State this weekend. And Michaela Edenfield was the color analyst.
Nice.
So that was cool. Yeah, she did a good job, by the way. But he was talking to Lonnie in between inning or during an inning, and he's like, Issa, because Issa just walked. And he's like, Lonnie, Issa's now gone on base 19 times in a row. Well, have you ever seen? And she's like, I don't talk about Issa. We don't talk about Issa. We're just glad she's on our team. Like, they know not to jinx it. But then she came up and got on base again the next time, so nothing was jinxed. But it is just it was a great weekend overall for them offensively. Still got some issues pitching, man, and that's where I think that they might hit their head on the ceiling. But the offense is really good, and I hate to keep talking about one player because she's not the only player on the team, clearly. But when you've reached base 19 times in a row and you're 24 of 27 against Division I softball players, conference games, I've never seen anything like it. So, yeah, it's cool that she's in Tallahassee.
Nevada Cullen. Look at you, Corey. Shout out Nevada. Stand up. You know, something like 60% of Nevada is like federal-owned land? I never knew that. I should double-check that before I said that live.
That's fine. Nobody's fact-checking us, buddy. All
right, that's a wrap for us for today. Was there anything else on your mind, Corey, that you wanted to empty out? That's what we're here for. Did you watch the Oscars on Sunday?
I didn't. I didn't really have a favorite to win. Did you see any of the movies?
I saw Sinners.
Oh yeah, I like that one. I hope that wins. I hope that won. Sorry, everyone. That was probably my favorite of the movies. But the ones I saw, I liked. I mean, F1. It's crazy. F1's a fine movie, and they did a lot of good stuff in it. I can't believe it was nominated for Best Picture.
Oh my gosh, that's that bad of a year then, man.
Well, I think they did it because it made a lot of money, and they put a lot of money into it, and the directing was cool because inside the car and everything. And we're Formula One heads. We love that stuff. We live that. We live and breathe it. Right. Shout out to Lando Norris for another great win this weekend. Have they started yet? Is Formula One back going?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, when he wins, shout out, well done. But don't count out Verstappen now. But anyway, so no, I don't think I have anything other than it was really cool to see Bruce Pearl be so upset that his son's 17 and 16 basketball team did not make the NCAA tournament.
They were the last 4 out, or the first 4 out. Like, how?
It's preposterous.
How?
Man. It's preposterous. And like him saying, they beat 3 champions. It's like, okay, yeah. He said they beat Arkansas, they beat Florida, they beat somebody else. We beat 3 champions this year. And it's like, yeah, okay. What about the 16 times you lost?
Yeah.
Like, they matter too, man. But it's that SEC, man. It's how they roll, right? They assume because they beat some good teams that if they lost to other teams, well, they don't count as much. And you can't fault the SEC people for thinking that. It bothers me that Bruce Pearl is an analyst on a desk covering the basketball tournament where he's lamenting the fact he's not talking about anything other than the 16-loss Auburn team not in the tournament. And it's like, man, this isn't serving the audience. This is a Nepo dad talking about his Nepo baby and being upset that his Nepo baby didn't make the NCAA tournament. And as I tweeted on Sunday night, if Bruce Pearl really cared about Auburn making the tournament, he should have stayed and coached them instead of handing a program to a guy that's not as good a coach as him. I can promise you with that roster, Bruce Pearl would have made the tournament because Bruce Pearl can coach. His son was raised by a guy that can coach. But that doesn't mean he can coach. Let's put Brady Clark on here sometime next week. Just because he's got the Clark name doesn't mean he's got this magic. Am I right, Aslan?
Well said. Well said.
Microphone I brought that one on.
Jeff Cameron Show, 1 to 4 o'clock, warchant.com, around the clock. Maybe some roundtable discussion going on over at warchant.com as we're in the down week of spring football. It is spring break. We'll be talking football on this show and on warchant.com. Come join us. Water feels great. 50% off an annual membership. 50% off. Take advantage of it. Join. It'll be cool. We can talk about you during the mailbag show. Can't wait for it. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Cummins. Follow Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram.